Hi, I am Life Coach Latricia Booker with Kingdom Business, where we are empowered, where we heal, we get delivered, and we get free. We know who we are. We elevate our minds and our spirits, and we raise and expand our consciousness to ultimately walk in our true divine purpose. That is the truth of who God created us to be. In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about let God give you your thoughts. But before I jump into that, thank you all for viewing my videos. Thank you to all of my subscribers for subscribing to my channel. And thank you for all of the donations to my channel. I really, truly appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And so, let God give you your thoughts. Listen. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 says this. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. So, if you trust in God in all your ways, you not in your own understanding. You in the understanding that He gives you. Then it says, delight yourself in the Lord and He will direct your path. So if you are seeking Him and His will for you, He will give you the very thoughts you need, the very understanding that you need, and then He will show you how to do what it is He has for you to do. So, sometimes we try to figure things out. Sometimes we're trying to figure things out where we're just doing things on our own. Let me say, sometimes that happens. Many a times for those of us who are being God-led and God is showing us things, visions, dreams, what He has for us to do, this, that, and the third and the other, what we're gonna do, when He's sharing our purpose with us, our mission, what we're going to be doing, what He's moving us into, our promises, the promises that He has for us. Sometimes we try to figure that out. We try to figure out how to go about doing it. If God gave you the vision and the dream and what He has for you, surely He'll show you how to do it. So, I'm saying all that to say, stop trying to figure it out and let God give you your thoughts. Let Him show you. He said, delight yourself in His ways and He will direct your path. So if you already are surrendered to His will for you, what He's purposed for you, you're surrendered to Him. And if you're not, I suggest that you make your way there if your desire is to please Him. If your desire is to do things His way. If your desire is to manifest and experience the things that He has for you. If you are sold out to Him. If you work for Him. If He is your master, so to speak. Let Him show you the way. Which literally means let Him give you your thoughts. You don't have to figure it out. Because He has all the answers. Yeah. If you have something that you're not sure of. Or something. Because in life, things happen. And we need resolution. Or we need to know how to go about taking care of something. Ask God. Like literally. What to do. Ask Him what to do or ask Him to work your situation out. Now, I have to just be real and say this works when you are in alignment with Him or when you are walking with Him. Well, when you're walking with Him, you're in alignment with Him to some extent, even though you may still be growing and evolving and coming into further alignment with Him, because we have to continuously grow, because we grow stronger in Him and we rise higher in Him. It's a process. And yes, in this process, the idea is to make progress in who you are in Him. You're already who you are. But because we have to make our way back to that we already are, we have to do the work. And it is a process. So I'm saying all that to say, things happen in life. And we're faced with situations and circumstances. And I'm have come to the realization that is on purpose. So that we can come to Him. And or know who we are already in Him and He in us. Which means we don't have to stress and worry about situations and circumstances. We don't. Not in a way where we're in fear what's going to happen. Because if we trust God, we don't stress over that kind of stuff. Because we know how to go to Him. And then we already know He going to work it out. Even if we don't have the answers yet. And if it's not for something for you to do, you trust that He going to be God and do what He do. Now, stress does have its proper place. I don't know if I want to say proper, but stress is a thing that you still may somewhat experience in life. But the idea is to minimize that. And this is where, because when we have things to do and we're going about doing them, sometimes we feel the stress of it. And it doesn't mean that you're worried or, concerned. You're just doing the work and doing what you need to do, especially those physical tasks that we have to do. Now, I'm not saying that to say that we have to stress, but sometimes we tend to until we learn that we don't have to do that and release it. Because, again, when we're even going about taking care of our business and doing the things we need to do, things happen and get in the way. And a perfect example of that is technology. When you're trying to get your stuff done or doing something and you're having all these technical difficulties, particularly when you're working or trying to get some work done, not always just doing work, but the thing is, everything that you do should be part of your work. And what I mean by that, your life in itself is a work in progress. So, I'm saying that to say that we may experience stress during those times. The point too is you don't have to. You can even relax right there and just trust that when it's time for whatever needs to be done, it'll get done. Even if that means you have to do something to help correct the problem, do it and let it go. Because sometimes it's happening like that for a reason. And again, I have come to the realization that it's all designed for you to trust. For you to trust God. We don't have to stress, even though we do sometimes. And again, I say stress has its proper place to say there's a difference in stressing because you're trying to take care of something and it's just some hiccups, and stressing because you just not trusted. There's a difference. Although you can stress, and sometimes we do, when something is just not going as smoothly as we would like, we don't have to. Because if we're trusting in the Lord with all thine heart, if we're trusting in the Lord with all thy heart and leaning not to our own understanding, as Proverbs 3:5 says, then we don't need to stress. Because we know them glitzes and that stuff, number one, ain't a big deal. Okay? Number two, even if it is something to it, we trust that we will be shown, or maybe you should ask, what's to this? What does this mean for me? What should I do? And again, sometimes it don't mean nothing. I personally find that when I let stuff go and fall back, things work itself out. Also, when I need to do something concerning the matter, I do my part and then fall back and let it go. And again, it works itself out. I don't necessarily stress over it. Sometimes it tries me, and that's just being real. But I'm learning, and I've learned to just trust. I've always trusted in God, trusting in Him. But hey, this is trusting in Him on a whole nother level. In your everyday life, even in your small, menial task, or whatever. In other words, trust Him in all that you do. If He gave you this work to do, or He has you here, He got you. Again, let Him give you the proper understanding. Let Him give you His thoughts towards a thing. But you got to be open to that. You got to move yourself out the way and let Him pretty much have complete control. You have to surrender to His will for you. You have to surrender to Him to allow Him to work in you. Yeah. Seek Him and He will show you the way. Seek Him and He will give you the thoughts that you need. You don't have to overthink. You know that thing, overthinking? Oh, I know all about it. Been there, done that. These days, thankfully, the only thing I do overthink is what God is showing me. And then I have to be careful with that, depending on what it is. Because sometimes God will show you and make you aware of something going on that is trying to cause you harm. So you want to be careful to not overthink about it. He wants to make you aware so you can be on your P's and Q's concerning the matter. But you don't want to, He's not telling you to overthink it about it. Because when you overthink about it, you enhance whatever it is. Which means you're attracting it to you more than necessary. Well, you're causing it to do some extra stuff it don't need to do because you're putting thoughts around whatever it is. Now, where it's a good thing to overthink, if we're going to call it overthink, what God is telling you and showing you is where He's showing you your vision, your dreams, your purposes, what it is He has for you to do, what He's moving you into. That's a good overthinking. That's the same thing as meditating on. Because when you're overthinking something, you're just meditating on it. The difference in the energy of overthinking and meditating is, in meditating, it's a calmer, it can be calmer. It should be. Overthinking has a heaviness to it. So, the only time you should be overthinking, if that's what we're going to call it, anything, is what God is showing you to move forward in, or what He's showing you concerning yourself, even spiritually. Because sometimes He give us downloads about where He's taking us, and I'm talking about spiritual wise, how He's elevating us spiritually, or where we are, and He's making us aware. You can think on that, overthink that, because what it does again is enhances that. It makes it stronger. Now, let me put this disclaimer out here. I always have to do this. This comes to me, and it just hit me. I'm not talking about when you're trying to do evil, or you're trying to manipulate someone, or when you're trying to get some kind of result or reaction or whatever it is, something from someone, so you're meditating on them. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking to you. And if you're doing that, you may want to make some changes, because that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about people who are on God's path, who are trying to move further into their purpose, the purpose of God. I'm not talking to evildoers. Let me just be clear. Although to some extent that may work with evildoers, evildoers need to be careful, because first of all, if you're messing with God's anointed, you're going to have some problems doing that. Secondly, if whoever you're doing that to is stronger and more dominant in their stance and conviction, what you're trying to do to them and with them would never work, because their conviction is stronger than what you're trying to do. You will have to do that with a weaker vessel. And I'm not encouraging you to do that, because again, that backfires, and that's not God's way. I just wanted to throw that out there because people do have the tendency to take the ways of God and what does work to use them for evil. That's like everything. That's just, the devil always perverts everything that's good and uses it for evil. So I just wanted to put that out there. Clearly, that's not who my videos are not for those kind of people. But sometimes it just occurred to me to just mention that, because at the same time, while we got good people viewing, we got people that just ain't up to no good. And I'm just warning you and letting you know, I'm not talking to you. But even if you try, you need to be real careful what you're doing, because anyway, overthink what God is showing you, about where he's taking you, and what he's showing you to do. Take note, take note, take note, take note. Because what you're doing is making that stronger in you. You're causing it to brew in you and become more potent. And let me just add this. Many things you want to keep to yourself. Just take action. Let it brew in you and take action on what he's showing you. They'll know about it once it's in full effect. Anyway, let God give you your thoughts. You don't have to figure it out or try to come up with. Now, again, I'm not saying that thinking doesn't have its proper place, because it does. You better think. I have a thing where people will say, I thought. And I be like, instead of thought, and think. Because if you think where that's appropriate, you will think and realize what makes more sense, or whatever it is. Then you won't have to thought. Because usually when people say, I thought, it's from a place of ignorance and doing the wrong thing to say, I thought. No, think or ask. Find out. Be sure. Anyhow, let God give you your thoughts and think on that. Let him show you and direct your path, and think on that and act on it when it's appropriate, when he moves you to do so. Because most times before you act on something God is giving you, he's building it up within you first, so that by the time you act on it, it's manifested. All you got to do is boom, 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 and it blow up, or do what it is God has for it to do. And that doesn't mean it's always a fast blow up, but it does blow up. Some things go slow, and they go slow for a reason. But if God is telling you to stick with it, listen, if God told you to do it, I'm telling you, you better stick with it. Because he know what he doing. And you have to trust that. Trust in the Lord in all thy ways. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart. Lean not to your own understanding. To you, it may seem like, well, I've been going at this and ain't nothing happening. If God told you to do it, and you showing up and you doing the work, you can't trust in your own understanding. You got to trust in what God is doing. Now, if there is something that you need to do different or tweak or whatever, ask. If you concerned, ask God. He'll tell you. He'll give you exactly what you need to know and do. And sometimes it ain't even in the thing you're doing. It's within yourself. Sometimes you got to have some tweaks. Do some tweaks within yourself for the external thing to manifest differently or do what it needs to do. Not always, but I'm just saying. But the point is to trust in God. Let him show you the way. Let him give you your thoughts. Let him direct your path. Trust him in all your ways. Lean not to your own understanding. And he will. He will. It's his promise to you. He will direct your path. So let God give you your thoughts. Stop all that thinking, all that stinking thinking. Or not so much thinking, but overthinking to where you're stressing and trying to figure it out. Let him show you. Let him drop the proper thoughts. And that's what you think on and act on when the time is right. When he says. It's called inspired action or divine direction. Action. Action, direction. Direction, action. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to leave that right there. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Click on that red subscribe button and subscribe to my channel, please. Thank you. Click on that bell right next to that red subscribe button so that you can get a notification every time I upload a new video. You can also connect with me on Facebook and Instagram at Latricia Booker and on Twitter at Kingdom Business 9. That is Kingdom Business with 1 S and the number 9. You can also connect with me on Likey at 1 Dr. Booker. That is the number 1 Dr. Booker. You guys, that's my time. So yeah, I'm out. Peace.